What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. And what do you know? The Phillies can win baseball games, according to all of the terrible takes by Phillies fans after one game, after one blown loss to the New York Mets. Yes, granted, I was very frustrated after that specific game. I didn't reflect any of my anger on the entire team for the entire season, or what I foresee the future with this ball club. I just reflected my frustrations during that game. Not once did I proclaim that, I thought this team sucked or anything like that. No way in hell. I clearly know this is a fantastic baseball team. Losses like that are going to happen. Definitely a very frustrating loss on Sunday in London, but, losses like that happen from time to time, and the Phillies bounce right back tonight. First game in Boston, they win by a score of 4-1. Get a nice little outing there from Zack Wheeler, just, 7 innings of 1-run ball, few strikeouts mixed in there. Honestly, I thought he can go 8 innings. Rob Thompson elected not to. I thought where the pitch count was, I think you probably would extend Zack Wheeler to maybe go another inning. But they did say on the broadcast, T-Mac and Crucky, that Rob Thompson does want to get some relievers some appearances here. So, in a close game, 4-1 score, that go to Matt Strom, and he was absolutely electric. Strikes out the side. Matt Strom, if this man does not make the All-Star team, we are going to riot. But somehow, some way, he's probably going to get fucked over because every single team in baseball needs a representative for some reason. So he's probably going to get screwed over by that rule, which is sadly going to be the case probably. He better make the All-Star team. And then, behold, Jose Alvarado can actually save a game. Surprise, surprise. Jesus Christ, people. Jose Alvarado blew one save. And people are thinking, oh my God, Alvarado's too inconsistent to be a closer. Alvarado's too shaky. He's not a closer. We need a better closer. Blah, 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 blah. Our bullpen sucks. It's not a good bullpen. Rob Thompson makes terrible decisions. Oh my God, I can't wait till Rob Thompson, costs us the game in the playoffs because of his terrible decision making. Like, seriously. Phillies fans were going completely overboard. And people were just completely going overboard with Jose Alvarado in general. Like, ridiculous, folks. It's one game. It's one game out of a fantastic season that Jose Alvarado is having. And I want to go to some stats here because I didn't bring them up after the game. But I want to go to some stats that Corey Seidman did bring up after that game in London, specifically about Jose Alvarado. And basically just, going over all that stuff. So I want to see where all the Alvarado talks was. So I want to see what he brought up here. If I can get to a specific point. Let's see. Here we go. The team is on 102. So this is directly after the London loss on Sunday. The team is on a 112 win pace. Alvarado had a 1.40 ERA in his last 28 appearances and a 2.63 ERA the last 3 seasons. He's one of the best relievers in baseball. Teams will lose games. The sun will still rise. And then he followed up this tweet by saying, man, oh man, some of these replies, as if a pitcher must be Mariano Rivera or else. 102 of Jose Alvarado's last 121 appearances, no earned runs. Includes 7 of 8 scoreless playoff appearances a year ago. He's blown a whopping 3 saves in the last 2 seasons. What's the expectations? Like, what's the bar for Phillies fans for a goddamn closer? Brad Lidge? Is Brad Lidge the bar for Phillies fans? Because I hate to break it to you, that's not normal. That's not normal at all. That's completely a rarity. That you get a perfect season from your closer. And then people are saying, oh, we need a name in that back end of the bullpen. Oh, we need something. You had a name last year. You had a name last year in Craig Kimbrell, and look how that went at the end of the year. Yeah, Craig Kimbrell gave us some good moments throughout the season, but, once he gets overused, Craig Kimbrell things happen in the playoffs, and he got completely shelled. So that's what happened there. Jose Alvarado is perfectly fine in his spot. He blew a save. MLB relievers blow saves from time to time. It just happens. Come on, folks. You got to be better than that. You got to be way better than that. Yes, I shared my frustration about the game. I wasn't reflecting that frustration on the entire team. No, not one way. I was reflecting my frustration just on that specific game. I reflected the frustration because I didn't agree with the Gregory Soto bringing out him instead of Matt Strom. Basically just that. Why would I argue bringing out Jose Alvarado in the top of the ninth inning to close out a ball game? No, Jose Alvarado just didn't have it. It's basically it. People just in their overreactions in this city. I understand we're a passionate fan base. Gotta be a little smarter there. It's like people are just waiting for doom and gloom to happen. It's kind of irritating at the end of the day. Just accept that you have a good baseball team. If you're going to stress every single game that your closer or one of your closers, whether it's Hoffman, whether it's Alvarado, is going to go out there and blow a save and you can't handle every single pitch that they throw, you're not built to watch this game. It's 162 games. It's impossible to be perfect. Impossible. What Bradledge did in 2008, that's an oddity. Even Mariano Rivera, one of the greatest closers in the game, he blew saves. Hell, he blew a save in Game 7 of the 2007 World Series against the Diamondbacks and allowed the Diamondbacks to win the World Series in 2001. If that doesn't scream perfection, I don't know what does. Well, doesn't scream perfection. Like, seriously, Mariano Rivera was not the perfect closer. He had his hiccups at some points. Still a fantastic closer at the end of the day, a Hall of Famer. Now, I'm not putting Jose Alvarado on the bar of Mariano Rivera, but it feels like that's what people's bar is at the end of the day, and it just gets very infuriating at that point. Like, just some of the takes after one game. It's ridiculous. After this Phillies team loses one game, the freaking takes get all over the place. Just calm down. All you got to do is calm down. Now, I didn't want to get into that type of talk, but, we had the off day yesterday, and just, like, after an off day where you have a chance to sit down, relax, and take your mind off and sit on the game, people are still overreacting. Like, holy hell. After that game ended, I saw the Braves got smacked by Washington, and I felt better. And I felt 100% better. And guess what? The Braves lost again today to the Baltimore Orioles, and that means you have a 10-game lead on them in the division. So, fun stuff. And also what goes, I don't know what means, but I just felt like going, I don't know why I'm doing that, but Kyle Schwarber, June Schwarber finally shows up. It only took 11 days into the month of June, but he finally showed up. 2 home runs today, including a home run on the first pitch of the ball game. Kyle Schwarber loves hitting in Fenway Park. It's his first time hitting in Fenway Park since being a member of the Red Sox so many years ago. Great stuff there from Mr. June Schwarber. Hopefully those 2 home runs, because if Kyle starts going off, that changes his entire, complexion of the offense. And that's especially huge, too, because with JT Realmuto going down with surgery for what they're saying is a month. He's getting surgery on his meniscus. Dave Dombrowski said that he was feeling soreness still in that right knee, and apparently it was a small tear in his meniscus, and JT thought he could play through it. JT's definitely a soldier at the end of the day, but this definitely was a very smart move by the Phillies to get this done and over with, and a lot of the experts out there say that this type of surgery that JT is getting, it's not going to be a long-term recovery. It's typically around a 4 to 6 week recovery. But I'm sure the Phillies are going to be playing by precaution, and basically at this point just make sure JT is ready for playoffs. Make sure JT is ready for October. We're going to take as much time as we need to for him to get ready. And at this point, it's going to be Garrett Stubbs and Rafael Marchand that are taking over the catching duties right now for the Philadelphia Phillies until JT is ready to go. And if you're going by this month time period that Dave Dombrowski did say, because he was having a press conference before the game in Fenway Park, and he did say that they're expecting a month. And at this point, a month from now would be basically right around the All-Star break, like right during the All-Star break, before the All-Star break, or after the All-Star break, something like that. Somewhere in that time range where the All-Star break happens. So I'm sure they're going to take a bunch of time as possible. And there's also some good news surrounding Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh. I believe Rob Thompson said that Trey Turner could be back as early as this weekend, most likely around this Monday when the Phillies come back home. So we're definitely getting Trey Turner back in the lineup soon. And the same thing goes with Brandon Marsh. Basically said around the same thing around this weekend, maybe Monday when they come back to Citizens Bank Park against the Padres. So that'll be definitely some huge bolsters to your lineup, because I think at some points the lineup does miss the ability of Trey Turner. He was batting 350 when he did go down with the injury. Now, granted, when Trey Turner comes back, he's not going to be instantly the 350 hitter that he was before he went to the injured list. So definitely going to need some wiggle room and some patience there so he can get his swing back in order and get his timing back in order. So we'll definitely have to wait and see what that happens with that. But, getting Trey back, getting Marshy back into that lineup, it makes your lineup a little bit deeper. And it kind of could, JT goes down, in comes Trey Turner, and that helps your lineup out even more. So, hey, like I said, I prefer the Phillies doing this right now. And like I said, it basically just kind of sounds like, with the entire situation, just make sure JT's ready for the playoffs. Just make sure JT is healthy enough for October. And they're taking precaution with that. They're making him get the surgery now. And a lot of people were questioning in that last game against London why, Rob Thompson pinch ran for JT with Garrett Stubbs. And apparently they planned this surgery before the London series. So I'm assuming they just wanted JT to play in London just so he can get, take in the environment out there. And, definitely understandable in that fact. So I don't blame him in that perspective. They had the surgery scheduled for this, and he's getting the surgery tomorrow. And we'll see what happens from there. I don't think it's going to be a month exactly. I think they're going to be playing the long game with this and just taking extra precaution, making sure JT is fully 100%. So we're just going to have to wait and see from that standpoint. But overall, just, that's basically, you still got your starting pitching. You still got your bullpen. That's been the backbone of this team. The offense will eventually, the offense is still good. The offense, they're going to have their run where the offense just completely goes off and off. And like I said, if Kyle Schwarber starts to, wake up with that power, like he did with tonight with the 2 bombs, if he starts going June Kyle Schwarber and basically going nuclear and hitting moon shots all over the place, then that changes the dynamic of your offense. It's different from Kyle Schwarber hitting singles. Well, the difference from Kyle Schwarber just hitting singles to Kyle Schwarber hitting bombs, it completely changes everything for your offense. And that's what this Phillies team needs right now, is Kyle Schwarber hitting bombs all over the place. Quick game, offense, 2 Kyle Schwarber bombs. Also got a lot of help from the Boston defense. They booted a play at first base. It should have been a routine play, just overthrew the first baseman, and 2 runs scored because of that. And that was basically the offense for the entire game. Zack Wheeler, after he gave up a run in the first inning, really settled down from there. The first inning definitely looked like he was just getting, the rust off from having so many days off in a row. And Zack Wheeler really settled down from there. Just very efficient stuff. Not many strikeouts for Zack Wheeler, but just very efficient. Getting quick outs, getting pop-ups, getting ground outs, fly balls, everything like that. Just a very good night from Zack. And like I said, I think he could have went the 8th inning. I guess Rob just decided to, okay, I got to get some guys in the bullpen some appearances right now, because there's been so many days off over the span of the past couple of days. So I can understand that standpoint. Matt Strahm was just so dominant. Strikes out the side, and then Jose Alvarado. 20 pitches, he gets the save. Jose Alvarado can close a ball game out. I don't know why people were overreacting so badly. It's absolutely ridiculous. Looking at the lineup today, Kyle Schwarber, 2 for 4, two solo shots. Nick Castellanos was moved up into the 2-hole. And Rob Thompson did say that's not going to be a constant, so they're going to be constantly flip-flopping that 2-hole for the time being with the absence of JT and Trey Turner. So I would assume at some point maybe you see Stott up there. Maybe at some point you see Bohm up there. I think Alec Bohm definitely needs a change of scenery from the cleanup spot, because his at-bats with runners in scoring position just have not been good lately. He definitely just seems very frustrated with himself at the batter's box. The body language isn't the best. I do think eventually Alec Bohm will come back around and he'll be knocking RBIs left and right again. He's just going through a big rut right now. His month of May was not good. Bryson Stott, he was 2 for 4. Edmundo Sosa, quiet day. He went over 3 with a walk. David Dahl, he goes over 3. He had some adventures out there in left field. He made a nice grab on a shallow fly ball on one of the first plays of the game, actually. In the bottom of the first inning, he actually slammed into the monster. You just hear the big thud as he's trying to go catch a fly ball that went off the monster. Garrett Stubbs, he goes 1 for 4 in place of JT Realmuto, and then Johan Rojas goes 0 for 4. Phillies, they do go 0 for 7 with runners in score position. They leave 5 runners on base. But at the end of the day, that specific stat doesn't matter when you get the pitching that you did get. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. It just is. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else here on Twitter like I always do. Just post-game stuff and everything like that. So really, it's just, with today, everything, like the JT Realmuto surgery news came out of nowhere for everybody. Everybody was panicking because, we didn't see anything about, like this came out of nowhere. We didn't know how long the recovery was going to take because at the initial statement, they didn't give the exact recovery time. They just said JT is going to be sidelined. He's on the 10-day IL, getting about to get surgery on his knee. I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. That's the last thing the Phillies needed was a freaking injury to JT Realmuto. And now that we know the recovery time, it's still probably the best case scenario in terms of everything. The recovery time isn't expected to be that long, but I still expect them to be on the more side of precaution, especially with the way that there are this season and just at the spot that they are record-wise. They have 46 wins, 20 losses. They're in a very good spot. They have a 10-game lead on the Braves in the division. They're going to be playing the long game with JT. At this point, the philosophy is make sure JT's healthy enough for October. That is the bottom line right there. That is probably going to be their plan. And right now they'll ride with Stubbs and Marchand until JT is healthy enough to get back behind home plate, catching this starting rotation in the bullpen. And that's basically it right there. You know what I mean? 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 Corey, you can't just do that one play by Garrett Stubbs as the consequences of not having JT. Garrett Stubbs threw a batter out today, a runner out at second base today. Garrett Stubbs is a fine defensive catcher. Him and JT have the top pop times in Major League Baseball in terms of catching and throwing to second base. Garrett Stubbs is a fine defensive catcher. I think you're just overlooking everything. Seriously, you just forgot to mention that he threw a runner out at second base today. Come on, you can't just completely disengage that. Come on, Corey, you gotta be better than that. Gotta be better than that. Gotta be better than that. You know what I mean? Give Garrett Stubbs a little more credit. If Garrett Stubbs can provide you solid defense, which he's going to behind the plate, and he can go 1 for 4 in most of his at-bats, I'll take that any day from Garrett Stubbs. He's not going to be the biggest offensive producer. If I can get that from Garrett Stubbs, I'll be perfectly fine. And of course, Marchand's going to get looks too. Marchand is definitely going to get looks too. I wouldn't be shocked if, they split time, basically. I would not be shocked at that point either, if they split time. Garrett Stubbs is not going to be playing every single day, so they're going to be, I wouldn't be shocked if they just split time with Marchand. Especially if the Phillies win tomorrow's game with Christopher Sanchez on the bump. I would be shocked if Marchand plays Thursday. Would not be shocked. Would not be shocked in the slightest. Get him a chance to get some reps in during a series win. Would not be shocked there at all. It's just, only pay attention when bad things happen. Corey, you can't do that. Corey, you can't do that. Don't only pay attention when bad things happen. Gotta, acknowledge the good along with the bad. And honestly, if Stubbs made that throw to second base, on the crazy pitch by Alvarado, made a nice block there. If Stubbs made a good throw, would have got him out by a mile. Just made a bad throw. It happens. It happens. It happens. Gotta relax there. Gotta relax there. I think Garrett Stubbs and Marchand will be a fine duo until JT comes back. Not gonna be world beaters. Obviously not. And it definitely, it does suck not having the presence of JT behind the plate. But I think you'll be fine for the time being until JT does come back. I think you'll be fine with a duo of Stubbs and Marchand. I think you'll be perfectly fine. Especially, if Trey Turner and Brandon Marsh do come back this weekend or Monday when the Phillies do come home, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So we look at the standings right now. Obviously, like I said many times, Phillies are 10 games above the Atlanta Braves in the NL East division. The Braves are 35-29. They got shut out by the Baltimore Orioles today, so they're playing the Baltimore Orioles. That is a very tough series for the Atlanta Braves. They also had Max Fried on the mound, so take that for what you will. And, they're off. Basically, for the Braves, their offense just hasn't been, clicking on all cylinders. It's really just been Marcell Ozuna. I believe Marcell Ozuna is the only batter in that Braves lineup that has an OPS over 800. The rest of the guys, like Austin Riley's not having a good year, Matt Olson's not having a good year, Albies isn't, of course, now they lost Acuna for the season. Yeah, they definitely take some hits with, losing Acuna and Strider for the season, but the rest of their bats just aren't hitting besides Ozuna. That's basically it. Their pitching is doing everything they can to keep them in games. That's basically what the Braves are just trying to do right now. They're going through it. But I'm not going to count the Braves out. Obviously not. They're still a good baseball team. They're going through it right now. They definitely are. And I 100% expect their bats to bounce back. They have too good of a lineup to be struggling for that long, in my honest opinion. So the bigger gap that you can get on the Braves, the better right now, because they're eventually going to turn it on. They are eventually going to turn it on. So the big lead that you can get on the Braves right now, like I said, the better. What else? So if we look at the rest of the series for the Phils, tomorrow, like I said, Christopher Sanchez is going to be on the bump. Who is he playing tomorrow? Who is he pitching against tomorrow? Is it Nick Pivetta? Yes, it is. Nick Pivetta, he is 3-4 with a 3.4 ERA. His last couple of outings, he went 7 innings against the Atlanta Braves and shut them out. 0 earned runs, 9 strikeouts. He has been racking up the strikeouts. That's always been what Nick Pivetta is. He is a strikeout pitcher. Then he went 5 1/3 innings against the Detroit Tigers. He gave up 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts. He went 3 1/3 innings against the Milwaukee Brewers, gave up 5 earned runs. He went 6 innings against the Cardinals, 1 earned run. And then, what else? 5 2/3 against Tampa Bay, 2 earned runs. So he's definitely turned his career around since going to Boston. He's definitely been a more solid pitcher. But I can expect the Phillies to, hit him a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked at that in the slightest. You know what I mean? What else? And for Thursday's game, all these games are at 7 o'clock, by the way. No afternoon games in this series, so that's very shocking. Thursday is going to be a very tough one, actually, for the Phillies. So it definitely is important to win tomorrow's game to try to win the series. It'll be Aaron Nola against Tanner Houck. And Tanner Houck has been very good this year for Boston. 6-5 with a sub-2 ERA, specifically at 1.91. He's been very good for Boston. Very, 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 very good. Racking up the strikeouts, allowing a lot of minimal earned runs, going deep into ball games. It's very important to win tomorrow's game. Very important. Very important. And then after this series, you'll play the Baltimore Orioles, and that's going to be a very tough series. 2 really good teams, 2 of the best teams in baseball. And yeah, you're definitely getting the better end of the rotation. So the first game is going to be Ranger Suarez going up against Kyle Bradish. Kyle Bradish has been very good this year, 2-0 with a 2.62 ERA. And then game 2, it's going to be Taijuan Walker against Grayson Rodriguez. He's 7-2 with a 3.27 ERA. And then Sunday, definitely a marquee pitching matchup. Sunday afternoon, 1:35, Zack Wheeler against Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes has been very good for Baltimore since being traded there. He's 7-2 with a 2.08 ERA. Honestly, I would not. Is this a free agent year for Corbin Burnes? Is this a contract year for him? Like, does Baltimore have any years left of control on his contract? I don't think they do. Corbin Burnes contract. How many years left does he have on it? Is this his final year of the contract? Or does he have another year of control left? Or a year of arbitration? No. I think he becomes a UFA. Yeah, he becomes a UFA after this year. Yeah. So he's definitely having a good year. I would not be shocked if Baltimore re-signs him with the year that he's having. He should be. Honestly, if I'm Baltimore, I'm re-signing Corbin Burnes. Like, to add with a lot of the young arms that you have that are coming up and in the minor leagues, I would still sign Corbin Burnes to be the ace of the rotation. That would be me if I was Baltimore. But yeah, that should be a really good pitching matchup. Zack Wheeler against Corbin Burnes. 2 of the best pitchers in baseball currently. And Zack Wheeler, he did lower his ERA. I believe he lowered it to a sub 2.20. So, Zack Wheeler continued doing his thing. And then you come home, play the San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And if you want to look at the rest of the schedule before the first half ends going into the All-Star break. So like I said, Baltimore after this series, San Diego, Arizona at home. You go on the road for 3 games against Detroit. Then you'll have a 4-game series against the Miami Marlins. And then you'll play on the road for 6 straight games after that. 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Braves, and then you're back home for 6 games to wrap up the first half of the year before the All-Star break. 3 games against the Dodgers and 3 games against Oakland. So some tough teams mixed in there, some okay teams mixed in there, some mediocrity mixed in there as well. The tougher part of the schedule does come when the second half starts. If you want to look at it that far, especially if you look at this stretch, it's a very tough stretch for this Phillies team. Is for for 4 straight series. Could you say 5 straight series? I would say 5 straight series. So you start after the All-Star break, 3 games in Pittsburgh, okay, but then you go 5 straight series, 3 in Minnesota. That's gonna be tough. 3 at home against Cleveland. That's going to be tough. Cleveland's one of the better teams best teams in baseball this year. Then 3 at home against the Yankees, one of the best teams in baseball this year. Then 3 games in Seattle. Seattle has some of the best pitching in baseball this year. Offense is very subpar, but their pitching is really good. And then you have 3 games in LA, the Dodgers, that is. So that's going to be tough. And then 4 games in Arizona. That's a very long road trip. West Coast road trip, might I add. And Arizona will be tough because specifically playing in Chase Field has given you troubles over the past couple of years, and I won't replicate what happened in the NLCS last year. I don't want to bring that up. You know what I mean? So it definitely is a tougher start, like going through that part of the end of July into the beginning of August. Schedule definitely does die down a little bit after that. So it's really that's the toughest part of the Phillies schedule. That specific stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 series in a row. That's their toughest part of the schedule from July 22nd to August 11th. That's the toughest part of their schedule. Because, like I said, it does die down after that once you get into the middle of August, end of August, / into September. So, I won't go over the entire thing. I just wanted to bring that up for talking points. You know what I mean? Because, these days are going to come up very quickly on you. The All-Star break's going to be here before you know it. The trade deadline's going to be here before you know it. The draft as well. So, a lot of this thing it's going to creep up fast. It's going to creep up very fast. We're already on June 11th, so it's going to be here before you know it. Definitely. What else? Don't think there is anything else on that point. If you want to see some stats on Matt Strahm, we could definitely do that. So this is from the good fight after the brilliant 8th inning by Matt Strahm. Matt Strahm just struck out the side. The last time he allowed an earned run was March 29th. It's June 11th. 27 straight outings without an earned run. 26 and 2/3 innings, 14 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 walks, and 36 strikeouts. Holy shit, Matt Strahm is on a fucking heater. This dude deserves to be in the All-Star game. And I feel like he's going to be fucking completely screwed over because of the stupid rules. Someone just pointed out something on one of the Kyle Schwarber home runs. So apparently Zack was at the game in Boston, and he ran like a country mile to try to catch this Schwarber home run. And the person that posted this is Ben Porter on Twitter. Dear God, look how far Zack runs for this ball. Someone needs to tackle this dude while he sprinted across both sections. He literally sprints across the entire section and ends at the Dick sign. What a colossal loser. That's funny. Honestly, I never noticed that. I never noticed that on the broadcast. That's actually pretty funny. What else? My God. What else is there? I don't think there is anything else. Just some good Phillies baseball. My God. This team, boys. This team. We do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline, so we might as well get to that. If you want to leave anything for future use, it's 215-839-9885. It's the number below your screen. Leave a voicemail, leave a text message, whatever you please. You can also utilize the YouTube live chat during live streams. Does not matter to me. It's your preference at the end of the day, as long as I get to interact with you beautiful people. So, let's get to the voicemail. Sean here, once again. Let's see what he has to say about this win.
Once again, this is the winning formula for the Phillies. I mean, not a lot of offense, but just enough because of the work of the starting pitching. And when a team makes a mistake, the Phillies seem to be able to capitalize on it and do just enough. Now, I got to admit, I was livid with Rob Thompson for taking Wheeler out when he did. No disrespect to Matt Strom, but I thought Wheeler could have easily given you another inning. And when you hear that, well, I've got to get guys work, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, you've got to win ball games still in reach for Boston. But credit again to Matt Strom, who, again, League All-Star team this year, it's an injustice. Wheeler, another solid performance. Schwarber does what he does in June.
Finally.
And the Braves lose again tonight, so you're 10 games up. You hate all these injuries, but the one good thing about having this cushion is it gives these guys plenty of time to rest and recuperate.
That's right.
You don't really have to rush anybody back. So good job all around by the Phils tonight. Nice solid start to this series.
Yeah, that's definitely very important that you're winning so many games and you have the record and the lead that you have over the Braves in the division. It does give you a lot of time to, with these guys with these injuries, to give them some time to fully heal. I know Trey Turner was trying to ramp himself back up like a couple of weeks ago, then he hit a setback or something like that. I think that was just the Phillies being, okay, just settle it down right here, Trey, you'll be fine. We got a good lead. We got I just lost my train of thought. Just relax right here. You'll be fine. Let's wait till the full time period of when your injury is supposed to be fully healed, and then you'll get back into the lineup, and then you can ramp things back up. Then, and for JT, he's got plenty of time. And I think that's their goal plan right there. I think that's, what their priority is. Let JT just be ready for the playoffs. Be ready for October. That's all that matters for JT right now. That's what our priority is. Make sure he is healthy enough to play in October. It's bottom line right there. That's bottom line. Because our starting pitching, elite. Our bullpen, elite. Regardless of what some Phillies fans want to say. Offense, they've been doing just enough. And I think this offense still has a lot more to give. I think they are, there's a factor of missing Trey Turner, missing Brandon Marsh, missing Trey Turner for an extended period of time. And, like I said, if Schwarber continues to do this now, if he's found his stroke, he's found his swing, the power stroke specifically, that completely changes the dynamic of your lineup. Because, like I said, Kyle Schwarber singles hitter is completely different than Kyle Schwarber hitting bombs. If he's just getting singles with guys on base, imagine if he hits the bomb and knock them all home. It's completely different for your offense. It can make it different from scoring 1 run in an inning to maybe 2, 3, or 4. That's the difference that Kyle Schwarber has when he brings power. And hopefully this is a good start. Hopefully this is a good start for Kyle. I need to see him go on a run. I definitely do. And I think we're getting closer to a Bryce Harper run. He does look a lot more better at the plate, consistent at the plate. He did get another hit in this game. He had some hard hit balls. I think it's almost time for a Bryce Harper, MVP type of run, stretch. You know what I mean? With the way that he hits. And yeah, I think Bohm will eventually find his stroke again with, driving in runs and just getting hits all over the place. Castellanos is who he is. He has been hitting a lot better as of late, so we'll just wait and see at that point. Stott will have his moments. Who else? Sosa, if he continues to do what he's been doing, that'll be really good, especially if Turner comes back into the lineup. I'm sure they're going to teach him the outfield. Sosa, that is. Dahl's been really good since being called up. Yeah, it's, keep doing your thing. And Rojas, if he chips in eventually at some points, I still think they're going to eventually, make a trade for an outfielder that replaces Rojas. In my honest opinion, there's still been some rumors about, Luis Robert and all that stuff. I believe Tommy Pham's also been a person of interest that I've heard as well, or have seen on Twitter. So there's definitely some options. We're definitely not going to see anything till near the trade deadline, and that's still over a month away at this point. So that's very long in a way from right now. But yeah, get to you guys right here in the live chat, and then we'll end it off. Schwarbomb's engaged. Yep, that's very important for this team. Injuries are getting frustrating. Wish Turner and Marsh, they are going to return soon. I think Rob did say that this weekend or Monday is around when they'll probably come back to the lineup, which is a very good thing. Philly's next goal is to be the 15 games above the Braves. That'd be nice to see. Eugene, I know the Phillies have some injuries, but at least they're not Houston or Texas. Yeah, Houston and Texas do have a lot of injuries to their rotation. Yeah, the Phillies definitely would not be able to afford an injury to one of their starting pitchers. Would not be able to afford that. We need a reinforced cup for JT. Too many close calls lately. Braves, the way they're going, might not make the playoffs. I think they'll eventually turn things around. I think they're still way too good of a team to fall the way they're falling. Their bats just aren't hitting. That's the bottom line. Their bats are not swinging. And right now, they don't have the luxury of having a rotation like the Phillies do that, can just win them ball games. Same thing with their bullpen. They don't have that luxury like the Phillies do right now. And their offense just isn't doing much. It's really just, like I said, it's Ozuna. That's it. Castellanos can't bat second. Remember when he was 7th last year and how good he was? I think it's mainly because of the injuries. If when Trey and Marsh are back, I think you'll see Castellanos lower in the lineup at this point. There's only like 4 teams in the National League over 500. Yeah, I think you're right there, Corey. I think you're right, and the Braves are one of them. Let's see. Let's filter in. So the Phillies and the Braves, they're 2 teams that are over 500. Brewers, they're over 500. Yeah, there's only 4 teams so far that are over 500. And the Padres, they're on the brink of being over 500. It depends on what happens, who they're playing tonight, and what happens. Right now, they're playing Oakland, and they're losing 1-0, but that's only in the bottom of the 3rd, and that could change. So if San Diego were to win today, that'd be 5 teams. That'd be 5 teams. But still, that's not a lot. That is not a lot. Yeah, baseball has a lot of bad teams. It definitely is kind of a shocker. I wouldn't say a shocker. That's kind of unfortunate, in my opinion. Not many good teams out there. Milwaukee wouldn't have traded him if he had a year left, I don't think. I just think Milwaukee didn't want to pay him. I think that's the bottom line. Milwaukee definitely just undercut him in the arbitration talks, and that just pissed him off. They completely lowballed him. I think he just wanted out of there. I don't blame him. He deserves money. He deserves a payday. So, and Milwaukee was definitely not going to give him that. So, I think he can get that in Baltimore. I think he can get that in Baltimore, especially with their new ownership. And their new ownership should be showing willingness to spend some money, unlike their previous owner. So if they re-sign Corbin Burns, I think that'll be really good for Baltimore. I think that'll be really good. Wheeler is 8-0 in his last 10 starts. He's got to win the Cy Young. He's got a lot of competition there, Julian. And say if Ranger just keeps doing what he's doing. Ranger is probably the Cy Young favorite at the end of the day. If Ranger Suarez does what he does, he keeps that ERA where it is. He keeps just what he's doing. Ranger, you might see 2 Phillies in the top 3 in the finalists for Cy Young. If the Phillies average 4 runs a game in the playoffs, they'll win the World Series. I like that thought process. I think they're going to trade for a right-handed outfielder, not some fringe player, some good player. Well, if you're thinking about that, it's Luis Robert. It's Luis Robert that you're thinking of. Because, yeah, there's definitely some ties there. But the rumors are that the White Sox want a Juan Soto-like package for Luis Robert. I don't think they're getting that. They're being a little overly egregious if that's the case. I'm not giving up Andrew Painter or Aiden Miller. Those 2 are completely untouchable. Every other guy, they're on the books. Specifically, Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter, I'm not touching. Nope. I'm keeping those 2. I ain't keeping those 2. Andrew Painter, because, yeah, we don't know what he's going to look like coming off of Tommy John. Definitely don't know that. Definitely going to be a little bit. He's still very young. And Aiden Miller just got promoted to high A, to Lakewood, I believe. Hitting the ball well for low A Clearwater. Hit the ball really well. He slipped in the draft because people were afraid of the injury that he had. Promoting some benefit for the Phillies there. Definitely slipped there for the Phillies. Hopefully it's some future good there. They definitely need a prospect like, an Aiden Miller to eventually come up and be a star. And I think Aiden Miller could be that. Same thing with Painter. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I think they'll be all over an outfielder, 100%. They'll be over an outfielder. I think they'll go after another bullpen arm because you can never have enough bullpen guys. I would think they go for a right-hander in the bullpen specifically. And yeah, don't think there's anything else there. Maybe a bench bat. But I think that, goes to if you trade for an outfielder. Just think, if you trade for Luis Robert, Rojas is going to be involved because they need an outfielder going back. Crawford will probably be a guy, one of the prospects that you trade. Maybe McAble, because McAble's stock has fallen recently for the Phillies. And maybe some other prospects mixed in there, in my opinion. Just not Aiden Miller or Andrew Painter, in my opinion. I don't think those two guys deserve to be traded. Don't think it should be the case. But yeah. I think that's where we should end it here tonight, folks. Bit of a longer stream, but I like interacting with you guys. That's what the fun is here. But yeah. Appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS. $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Good win by the Phils today. Let's try to win the series tomorrow, because I would like that. So thanks, guys, for tuning in.